Hello everyone, my name is Marina and today I would like to show you how I built my most recent project. This is the ESP32 object tracking camera. I really enjoy building projects which connect AI and hardware, so this is one of those. I had two goals for this project. The first one was to find a model and train it with my own photos, which I did. And I created my own target object and took around 500 pictures and made sure that my camera only follows that object. And the second goal was to actually create my own mechanical parts, which I did and I'm very proud of. For the first time, I think it looks very cool. I made sure that it matches my wires, my hardware and servos, and moves properly, so it works. Maybe not perfect for the first time, but I'm happy. I'm gonna walk you through this process. I really hope that the information will be helpful for you and interesting to watch. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Before I go into the details, I want to show you how the whole system works. For this project, I'm using the ESP32 camera, laptop, another ESP32, and the servo driver with two servos. The ESP32 records the video, laptop works with AI, and the ESP32, another one, controls two servos. And thus, altogether, it becomes my object tracking camera. The ESP32 camera sends the live video to my laptop over Wi-Fi. On my laptop, Python runs the AI model that I trained my own pictures, and the model basically looks through the video and tries to find that object. And once the object is found, Python figures out where it's in the frame, and that information is used to move the camera. Then Python sends a simple movement command to the second ESP32, and the second ESP32 doesn't run the AI, its job is just to receive the command and control the servos. Here we move to the hardware movement side. The second ESP32 sends signals to the servo driver, and the servo driver controls the two servos, one for left and right movement and one for up and down movement. Those servos physically move the camera so it can follow the object. Before we continue, I would like to share two things. The first one is that you can simplify this setup. You don't have to use two ESP32, but my goal was to make the idea work, and I used what I had at the moment. And because of this, because there is a lot of information processing, there can be a small delay. So this is something I want to point out. The second thing is that some people ask me if I'm running AI directly on my ESP32, and in this version I don't. My ESP32 camera only is streaming video, and all AI happens on my laptop. I think some small models can run on ESP32 boards, but my ESP32 is just not powerful enough to run my model, so it runs on my computer. Now that the system overview is clear, I want to show you how I built the physical camera body. This part was actually one of the most interesting parts for me because I designed the 3D printed pieces myself and had to make sure the servos, camera model, screws, and all the moving parts fit together. Before attaching the servo horn and the printed parts, I center the servos first. This is important because if the servo is not centered, the camera may not point straight later, or it might hit the mechanical limits when it moves. So I added the servo centering code on GitHub, and you can use it for assembly. I'm adding my first servo for left and right movement. The servo goes inside this printed base, and the cross servo horn connects to the rotating platform. So when the servo turns, the whole camera turns with this. And these are the screw kits I used for this project. Next, I'm adding the tilt yoke base. This piece holds the camera cradle, and the cradle holds the ESP32 camera model. This part is important because it supports the camera while it moves up and down. And here I'm adding the camera cradle. I'm attaching the servo horn to it. This whole piece will be holding our ESP32 camera model. The only one thing is that I ended up flipping the screws around because they started to interfere with the servo movement. Now I'm adding the second servo for the up and down movement. It needs to be really stable because it is holding the camera while it tilts, and even a small movement inside the holder can make the camera wobble. So I added this support piece to keep the servo more secure. And now finally I'm placing my ESP32 camera and the cable inside the camera cradle. the final piece, this base plate. It adds more stability to my camera, and I think it makes the whole design look more finished. And after putting everything together, this is what I ended up with. I think it looks nice. It's still a prototype. I'm just glad the mechanical part finally works. I will share the code I used to create the STL file, so if you want to build something similar, you can adjust the design for your own hardware. Here I want to quickly show you the wiring. The servos connect to the servo driver. I use channel 0 for pan and channel 1 for tilt. The driver connects to the second ESP32 through I2C. GPIO21 is SDA, which is the data line, and GPIO22 is SCL, which is the clock line. I also use external 5 voltage power for the servos because they need more current than the ESP32 should provide directly. Before using the AI model, I needed a stable video stream from the ESP32 camera. For this project, I cared more about speed and stability than perfect image quality. Here I'm using QVGA resolution, which is 320 by 240. It's not the highest quality, but it's easier to process in real time. The camera sends this live video over Wi-Fi to my laptop, and Python can read this stream and use it for object detection. Now that the mechanical part was working, the next step was teaching the camera what object to follow. For that, I trained a YOLO model using my own pictures. I didn't want to use a random object, I wanted the model to learn something unique, so I designed this target object myself and printed it on my 3D printer. I am using my ESP32 to take pictures because I want AI to learn from the same camera it would use later in my project. So instead of using iPhone, I collect images from the actual camera stream on my ESP32. I used a Python script to save those frames as my dataset, so look at my GitHub to get that code if you need it. After I collected the images, the next step was labeling. So for that I used a tool called Make Sense. I've never used it before, but it was pretty easy to use. So I uploaded all my pictures there, created only one label called Target Object, and then I started drawing boxes around that object. Basically, the box will tell the model that this is the object and I want you to learn this specific object. And this part is actually very important because the model learns from the examples I give it. So the better my pictures and labels are, the better the model can recognize my object. So if the boxes are wrong or messy, the model can learn the wrong thing. And after I finished labeling, I exported everything in YOLO format. Basically, it gives me a folder with a lot of text files, and there are just random numbers inside that text file, which actually tell YOLO where the object is in the image. So the image shows the object, and this little text file tells the model where the object is. And after I exported my labels, I still need to prepare everything for YOLO training. I had my raw images, label files, and I need to organize them in the right structure. So I wrote a Python script for that. What it does, it checks images that have labels, it puts them together and then splits everything into training and validation data. I used 80% for training and 20% for validation. So basically the training set is what the model learns from, and validation set is what I use to check if the model can recognize the object on new images. And the script also creates the data file, which tells YOLO where the data set is and what the class name is. After running the script, my data set is ready, and it says that it found 384 images and 383 of them had matching labels. So it looks like one image was skipped because it didn't have a label. And then dataset folder has everything YOLO needs now. It has all the images, all the labels, and we have this data file. Okay, now after we got our dataset folder, we can start training our YOLO model. I used this small model called YOLO V8 Nano, and I trained it on my dataset for 80 epochs. And this means that the model goes through my images 80 times. You can see a lot of numbers. They can actually check if the model is improving. The number means like loss, precision, recall. In my video, it's hard to tell what they mean because it's just the beginning of the training. And it took me some time, it took me 30 minutes. probably, but it depends on your computer and settings. So after finishing the training, YOLO gave me this best.pt file. It's a PyTorch file that stores the trained model, and this is what I use later for detection. I tested it on my validation images to see if it could recognize my object on new example, and it is working. YOLO is going through the images and detecting my target object. After testing the model, YOLO saved the results in this run/detect folder. And here you can see that it found my object and drew a box around it. The 0.75 is the confidence score, so the model is about 75% confident. I thought for this camera quality, the score was good enough, so I just decided to move forward. And now we are ready to run the main Python code. I won't go through every line of it, but here I'm showing the important part is that this path points to my trained best.pt model. And the script uses this model to detect my object from ESP32 camera live stream. Here you can see the camera follows my target object, but it doesn't react to my hand or random object. That means it's not just following movement, it is recognizing the specific object I just trained it on. I'll quickly walk through the main idea of the tracking code. I'm not going to explain every single line, but I want to show you how Python connects the AI detection with the ESP32 servo movement. Here I'm setting up the main Python script, so I connect three things: the train model file, the serial port for the second ESP32, and the ESP32 camera stream URL. I'm hiding the actual IP address and serial port because they will be different for every setup. And here I start reading the live video stream from my ESP32 camera. I use a custom frame reader, so Python keeps grabbing the newest frame from the camera, and it helps reduce delay because the tracking code works with the latest frame instead of the old video frame. Here, Python sends each camera frame into the YOLO model. The model checks the image and tries to find my target object. On the right, you can see the result. YOLO found the object and drew a green box around it. The dots show the object center and the frame center, so Python can understand if the camera needs to move at all. Python finds the center of the object and compares it with the center of the frame. Then it creates a simple movement command for the second ESP32. In my code, the command starts with D and then sends two numbers, one for pan movement, which is left and right, and one for tilt movement, which is up and down. So basically Python is telling the ESP32 how much the camera should move. Here, the second ESP32 reads the command from Python. It gets two movement values, one for left and right and one for up and down. Then Arduino adds those values to the servo target position so the camera knows where to move next. Here I'm tuning the servo movement. These values control how fast the pan and tilt servo move and how smooth the motion feels. The camera moves pretty smoothly for now, but I'm still adjusting these numbers because there's always a trade-off. If I make it too smooth, it reacts slower, but if I make it too fast, it kind of feels sharper and robotic. So I'm still trying to find a balance between those two options. I think I showed you everything I wanted to show you regarding this project. I spent a lot of time building and debugging it, so I was very happy to see it finally work. It's still a prototype and I'm still learning, but I was very happy. And I don't have a lot of people around me to share this type of project with, so I decided to post it on my YouTube channel. That's why I hope you find some information in it useful, or at least some parts of this video were pleasant to watch. And I'm going to post all my STL files and code I have on GitHub. You are more than welcome to use it and adjust for your own hardware. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you soon again. Thank you so much for watching again, and I hope you have a beautiful day.